Okay, so I took Luna today on her first decompression walk. Sorry about the video. It's always super awful footage when I'm walking and filming because it's hard. But hope it doesn't make you too sick. But I took her on her first decompression walk. And I'll go into a little bit more what a decompression walk is in a second. But something that I noticed was that she was really, really unsure. So here she is, kind of trotting around. And she's not terrified, but the way that she's moving definitely signifies that she's nervous. Right there, she had little bitty tongue licks. She stuck her tongue out a little bit. That's a stress response. So she gives me 3 beautiful more examples of stress responses that I'm going to point out here in a second. One of them being a shake off, which I believe she is about to do. Right there. So that's a stress response. It also came with kind of a yawn. That's another stress response. Obviously, all these things in context, right? Shaking when they're not wet, yawning when they're not like laying down sleeping. Who is honking at who? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in the car line. And someone just honked. Okay, so she's giving, and then she's obviously pretty unsure. She's popping up a lot. She seems really alert. She's doing a lot of sniffing, which is great. We want her to, but her sniffing, instead of being exploratory, is more like unsure what's going on. She's not panicking in the sense that I would take her home, that this is a system overload for her. I think this is a good amount of kind of like, hey, we're here. It's going to be fine. Let's figure it out. Nothing bad's happening. I know there's not any scary construction going on. I know that no one's going to pop out of these things and scare her. It's not going to be a negative experience. There is a bird right there, and she was very unhappy that there was a bird bouncing around. But so those are some things. So another stress response she gives us in a little bit, in case I'm talking about the decompression walk when it happens, is a paw lift. So she'll lift one of her front paws and kind of freeze. That's another like stress indicator. And all these things just tell her that she's unsure, she's uncomfortable. To the severity and how she's handling other things is going to tell us if it's too much or not. And right here, I feel pretty confident that right now this is not too much for her. Okay, so what are decompression walks good for? They're really, really, really important, and they're really good for dogs and puppies. I would say especially puppies, just to kind of get a really well-rounded dog. They're letting them explore. So in a perfect world, a decompression walk is where I hook a long line to a dog, and I follow them around, within reason. Obviously, if she goes into the road, I'm not going to go into the road with her. But I let her explore, I let her sniff, and I follow her. She stays next to me for the most part, except for right now, she's pulling up ahead because she wants to leave. And I'm letting her walk up ahead, and then I'm kind of walking to the side. I'm not pulling on the leash. And once she sees me to the side, she runs after me. She gets a little excited here. She's still a little stressed. It's kind of a stress zoomies little second. There was a yawn. See another yawn, so she's just communicating with us there. But so I just like to walk around. I don't want to pull her one way or the other unless it's not safe. But I just want her to explore. I want her to hear sounds. I want her to feel different textures, different heights of grass, different things. My goal for this decompression walk was to work on some of her recall, but she did not feel very comfortable, so I dropped it. And I was like, no, we're not going to do recall. We're going to work on confidence building right now. I don't have any treats. I don't have anything with me I have treats with me, but I'm not using them. I'm just letting her explore and work through this unsureness herself. She never got super confident. But I think the more you take her out on these decompression walks, the better she'll be able to cope with these unsure feelings. Okay, I'm sorry, this video is crooked and I don't know how to flip it. So here we are. I took her over to the soccer field next to where we were at, just to see if that kind of got a different reaction out of her, and it didn't. I thought maybe with the shorter grass it'd be a little less overwhelming, but she seemed about the same. She never got too stressed to the point where I was concerned, but still definitely just kind of unsure. This is obviously a worse video too. Not only is it sideways, because I'm not getting a great shot of her. But okay, so right, these decompression walks has dogs experience things, sniff things, smell things. There's a lot of studies showing dogs off leash and are on these decompression walks where they can run, they can regulate their own exercise, they can decide where they're going, they can sniff and smell and do all these things, being super beneficial to a lot in their life. We can get into it deeper later. Also, another thing is this is going to be a million times more exhausting than a normal walk. When she's getting more used to it, she'll move a lot more than you will, so she'll run back and forth while you're not running back and forth. And all of the smells and experiences are mentally draining. So, hopefully not draining, mentally tiring. So not only are you working her body, but you're really working her mind, and it's gonna knock her out a lot longer than even a walk will. Which walks are still great. We still need them. I just really love decompression walks. And you have the lake near us, so that's helpful. And kind of anywhere there's an open space. Okay, so I here am using Nora and Riley. Sorry the video is so dark. I wish it was better because this is an incredible video and Luna freaking killed it. Okay, so I'm going to try to leave the sound on so that you can hear how I'm calling her and the sounds that I'm using. But I know that I'm talking to the girls a lot, so I'm not sure how confusing that's going to be. But we'll see. Okay, so essentially what we worked on is her off and her not jumping all over me. So you'll see here that the girls are instructed to, if she jumps on you, cross your arms, walk into her, and ignore her. I told them that those are the 3 things they need to try on their own. And if she does not get off in enough time where they feel comfortable, they need to call for some sort of help. I think that maybe you could use a code word for them. And that way, eventually, maybe that word could be their off. And we can kind of translate that. It's a little complicated. Also, something so that the kids are not just screaming the word help in your house. Or you could use help. I don't care. Totally up to you. But if Luna does respond to their ignoring, their arm crossing, and them stepping into her, then the kids are told to either go ahead and give her a pet, go ahead and walk off, or you guys could choose to treat her. Or the kids could choose to walk to a treat and hand her a treat as long as her feet stay on the floor. That one's a little iffy because then the kids aren't going to always know when to give her the treat. So, if she doesn't respond to the 3 ways of ignoring or deterring the jumps, then that's when we're going to use our off cue. So I'm using the word off loudly, I'm snapping, I'm clapping, I'm turning my body, and then I'm giving her treats. She also gets multiple treats while she's with me, and then I will release her. All done means I'm not giving out any more treats. We're done here. Okay, so right there she ignored Nora's signals, so she doesn't get anything. Sometimes she might get stuff, sometimes she might not, sometimes she might get pets, sometimes she might not. It depends, and that kind of gives you a little bit of flexibility to do what you will with this behavior. The things that need to be consistent is the kids trying their best to ignore, and when they're not able to or they feel overwhelmed, using a word to indicate they need adults to step in. There we go. Good job. Also, you do not have to have treats on your body to do this. What I expect to do in the house is to run or quickly walk with Luna to the closest treat bucket, which hopefully is scattered around your house, or hopefully will be soon if this is something that's going to be helpful for you. Okay, so right here she didn't. I was like, better. She's so good. That's exactly how we want to interact with our kids. Sorry. Okay, I had to save a dog from outside. Okay, so she's doing great. I had the kids, just act normal, jumping, talking to me, and just being normal and seeing where we get. There, she doesn't ignore. Off she comes to me and she sits. When she gets to me, I do expect her to sit or have all 4 feet on the ground. I don't want her jumping all over me when she gets to me. I don't want to now be the next exciting thing. But I think it went really well in theory and in our training practice. And I think just try to implement it. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to be something that is going to be a habit that you have to build up. And hopefully one day it's not going to be something that you're going to be using, right? We use the word stay and sit often. But as an adult dog, we theoretically won't have to use this, like children with their arms crossed saying something like, enough, and then mom and dad stepping in saying, off, and pulling away and giving treats and doing those things. This is just to instill our expectations. I'm sorry. Penny, thank you, it's enough. The way we're teaching this is just to instill our expectations. Same way we don't expect our kids to expect a sticker every time they clean up their room. But it is going to be the way to teach her. Luna, off! Come on! Hey! Hey! Yes! Good girl! Good girl! Okay, well, that was something.
All right.
Okay, I decided to leave that in. I was talking, Kaylee came into the hallway, and she went after her. Now, inside, it did not work as clearly because I didn't have treats and I wasn't setting up a training session. But with all those sounds and all those, okay, and I made different noises, I didn't keep saying the word off because that's what we want our clear cue to be. But she eventually came. When she came, I ran to a bucket because I did not have treats in my hand, and I threw them on the floor. There we go, and she got the hint. Definitely harder inside, though. I know it's not going to be as neat and beautiful when you're doing it at home that it was in the first video. But that was great practice, and I can use it all the time. Okay, here I'm trying to show some recall behaviors. She's not getting really distracted, so I can't really show what I want it to. But you can watch me walk around and give her one recall for a second. Luna. So I was able to recall her, say her recall word, and have her come into me. Okay, so one thing that we want to make sure we're doing is when we're using our recall word, come, we are not using it when she is distracted or when she is going to have a hard time getting to us. We just want to use it when it's easy and when she can be successful, because we want to really have that word come to be a concrete cue. If she needs to come to us and she's doing something like digging a hole or playing with a toy or getting into shit she doesn't need to get into, I would just use her name, lots of boop, 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 boops. I would go closer to her and then run away fast so she chases you. Things like that. That's what I want to do to encourage her to come to us. I would not use her cue, though, since it's brand new, unless we have set up a training session and unless we can be positive that she can be successful and come to us when we call. Because this is just the foundation. Using the word when it's really difficult is going to give her lots of opportunities to practice ignoring that word, and we don't want her to do that. So only using the cue when you're practicing and when you think that she can be successful. And then when you need her to come to you on other moments when she's not, using her name, encouraging her with toys, encouraging her with your body movement. And honestly, my best way of doing it is just going to grab her. So, but yeah,